Hello, everyone, and welcome to 1-800-Accountant's first LinkedIn Live. Today, we're going to be talking about how to meet your financial goals as a freelancer. For anyone joining us for the first time, we are 1-800-Accountant. 1-800-Accountant is the nation's leading virtual accounting services provider, but really, we offer much more than that. We have an expert-led accounting service that can take care of the backroom tasks like bookkeeping, tax preparation, payroll, and much more. We'll even get you up and running as an official business for $0. You only have to pay the filing fees that your state requires. We make it quick, easy, and we'll even throw in a personalized tax saving analysis. What sets us apart is we have real accountants to file your entity formation paperwork, which will set you up for long-term tax savings. We aren't here to just slap together a binder and send you on your way with a bill. We set you up for the right framework to minimize your tax burden year after year. This morning, we're going to be talking freelance. The business world has seen a lot of change the past few years, from people needing to adopt their careers during the pandemic to people now realizing that you don't have to be in an office from 9 to 5 to make a living. Freelance has become the answer for a lot of these people who are looking for that financial freedom and scheduled flexibility. And at 58 million and counting, freelancing is posed to become the U.S. majority workforce in 2027. Even industry-leading companies have been taking advantage of the influx of freelancers. As of March 2019, Google's workforce comprised of 120,000 contractors and freelancers. That's more than the number of permanent employees on its payroll. The small business world hasn't gone unaffected either. 71% of small and medium-sized businesses have said they've hired a freelancer, and 81% of those companies plan to hire a freelancer again. So there's a huge market for these freelancers to thrive and find success. But the question we want to answer is, what's the best way to do that exactly? And to help answer that question, we're going to welcome Brendon Pack, Chief Revenue Officer for 1-800-Accountant. Brendon, thank you for joining us.
How you doing, Ellen?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Fantastic. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. Okay. So how can someone get started in freelancing?
I think it's essential that you have a passion for what you're doing. When you look at other successful business owners, they have a passion about the business that they are involved in. It's impossible to contain that passion, and it really resonates with them and everyone that they're working with each and every day. So I think the first piece is just really determine what you love doing and then follow that passion and go into that line of work and make that your business as a freelancer. Also, I think it's important to set goals. A lot of people, they might go out on a lark and decide to do something as a side gig, and they haven't really thought it through. So it's essential from day one to really set goals, what you hope to accomplish, and also be prepared. Is this going to be your sole source of income? Are you strictly doing this as a side gig, or do you have something else in mind? The benefit of starting it as a side gig is that you can maintain your W-2 income from your day job while you learn the ropes as a freelancer, while you acquire customers, and while you get all the tax benefits associated with being a freelancer as a business owner. The downside, however, of having it as a side gig from day one is, are you really able to focus 100% of your time and your energies on what is going to be the future for you and your family? And as everyone knows, focus is incredibly important. And so when you're working that 9 to 5, do you have that same level of focus that's going to be required to really set you apart as a freelancer in the marketplace?
Exactly. So with the popularity of freelancing becoming what it is now, how can someone stand out in the market and work that hard to keep growing their business?
I really think that the key is networking. It's something that has to consume you every day, all day. You have a network on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, friends, families, current colleagues, former colleagues. Those people are what's going to form your network. And that is probably where the majority of your new customers are going to come from. The benefit of networking is that it's a free or low cost acquisition channel for new customers. So you have to be fundamentally thinking about how you can be marketing yourself and your business all of the time to that network. Social media obviously allows you to do this in a very cost-effective way. And so that's the great thing about those channels is you can basically build up a profile for yourself, begin to market your business more effectively, and really you let the world know what you're doing. And then once that happens, you're going to find people just raising their hand, coming in through the door, asking if you can help them. Right now, we're in an unprecedented labor crisis in this country where there are millions of job openings and not enough candidates to take those jobs. So companies now more than ever are looking for freelance employees, freelance workforce who can take on tasks that their current employees aren't able to handle. So there's never been a better time to jump in and become a freelancer because there's almost a nonstop amount of work available. You also want to enhance your brand, right? Build a website that's very engaging, that kind of speaks to the brand that you want to represent. It's also important to realize that there are a variety of platforms right now that exist to benefit freelancers and to put you in front of thousands, if not millions, of potential customers. Fiverr, TopTal, Upwork. These are just a few of the networks that are available out there that within just a few minutes, you can go on, create a profile, and then basically have your work being represented to potentially millions of business owners and millions of potential customers, not only across the United States, but across the world. So I think that it's really fundamentally different today in a positive way to be a freelancer and to kind of take that leap and to change your life.
Exactly. So it sounds amazing, obviously, working for yourself, setting your own hours. You said it yourself, there's a need in the market. And so these jobs look like they're everywhere and they're just easy to grab. So, what are some of the misconceptions that we're seeing these freelancers, like who are starting out or even a year in, are coming across?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that we see a lot of freelancers make is thinking they're going to basically be working less hours for more money. Typically, that's not how it works. Being a freelancer is a full-time gig. It's going to consume everything if you want it to be successful. So it's important to keep that in mind and to understand the time commitment to truly run a successful freelancer business. It just means a deeper commitment to the hours you're going to be expected to work, and things are going to come at you 24/7, and you really have to be prepared for that. You're never off the clock. I think that's the biggest thing to keep in mind. You might receive an email from a customer at 10 p.m. expecting a project to be completed on an expedited timeline. That probably can't wait until the next day or the next week. That's something that you have to jump on immediately and get that done, because having a great customer experience is paramount. You look at companies like Amazon, everything has to be focused on the customer. How can you make sure that all of your customers are supremely happy with the service that you're providing? Because that's going to lead to repeat work, and that's also going to lead to referrals from your current customers and who are going to become your future customers. So really understanding that as a W-2 employee working for a company, you have one title. You're responsible for doing one thing. When you make that transition and you become a freelancer, all of the titles are what you're going to be responsible for. You have multiple roles within the, organization of one, so to speak, that is your new freelancer business. You're going to have to be all things to all people. You're going to have to be a publicist, a bookkeeper, a tax pro, a social media expert, all of those things kind of rolled into one if you want your freelancer business to really thrive and flourish.
Definitely. Yeah, I like, especially since pointing out that like you really do have to work 24/7. Like the instantaneous for responding to messages is so hand in hand now, specifically since the pandemic. With everyone can use Zoom now, everyone can use video calls, everyone has email straight to their phone. So like having that instant response and constantly having to be on is definitely a headache. So since you've been in the business a while, what would you say some of the biggest mistakes you've seen as an accountant and as a small business expert that these freelancers are making regularly?
Well, I think that most freelancers think that the running a business is just doing the actual work that the customer has hired you to do, but that's only part of it. I think most people want that to be the sole 100% focus, but unfortunately, it's just not like that. There's much more involved in running a business. There are all of the administrative, all of the logistical, all of the compliance issues that go along with that, that in many cases are going to monopolize a majority of your time if you let it, if you're not smart about it, if you're not delegating to experts that you can trust to handle those things in many cases better than you're able to handle them if you do them yourself. Most freelancers are not small business experts. They don't understand all of the various nuances that go into running a successful business as a freelancer. I mean, the failure rates in this country for entrepreneurship are incredibly high. 70% of new businesses fail within the first 3 years. So you need to make sure that you are doing all of those things that are essential, that you're avoiding a lot of those common pitfalls that just have traditionally bedeviled new entrepreneurs. And so that's why, working with experts is incredibly important so you can kind of free your time and your energy to focus on managing and growing a successful freelancer business. And I think to that point, a lot of freelancers really underestimate the amount of time that does go into all of those administrative activities. Take tax, for instance, right? We're a tax and accounting firm, and so that's a good place to start, right? So most people think about taxes, they think just about income taxes, right? The return that you file every January, February, March, or April with the IRS. But once you're a freelancer, you become a business owner. And there are a variety of taxes that you're going to have to contend with. There are things like self employment taxes, quarterly estimated taxes, franchise taxes. These are all different taxes that you are responsible for either to the federal government or to your state revenue authority. So, incredibly important that you understand everything that goes into that. Or if you don't, that you're working with experts in that field who can handle it for you to provide you that peace of mind. And speaking about taxes, right? What about paying yourself as a freelancer? You can't just take a withdrawal from your business checking account and call that compensation. It doesn't work like that. Or if you try to do that, it's going to lead to potential penalties and interest from the IRS and maybe even a lot worse. So it's incredibly important that you understand how to pay yourself as a business owner. There are a variety of tax benefits that go along with paying yourself the right way. Also, the type of business structure that you establish to operate as a freelancer will actually have a huge impact on the tax rate that you pay, on the compensation that you take as a freelancer. So make sure that you set up the correct business structure from the start with input from an accountant who can advise you on that correct entity type, because that will literally save you thousands of dollars each and every year for the lifetime of your business. It's a mistake that we see tons of new business owners make. Tons of freelancers are in the incorrect business structure. Thankfully, though, you're able to analyze that situation after the fact. You can make some various filings with the IRS and the state that you're formed in, and we can make changes to improve that structure to benefit your tax situation longer term. But again, these are all important things that you need to be working with trusted advisors on, because it literally means the difference between paying thousands of dollars each and every year when it comes to taxes. Most business failure, it's not really a function of it being a customer or a revenue problem, right? So it's not a function of, hey, I don't have enough people that want to pay me to do my work, or I don't have enough customers. The issues are primarily administrative and logistical. All of those things can potentially lead to business failures. And when we've surveyed customers in the past, we've found that over half of all business failures are because of those administrative reasons. They're not filing their taxes quarterly. They get into trouble with the IRS. They're not paying themselves correctly. They have payroll tax issues. They've been commingling of funds, mixing their personal and their business transactions. All of these things can lead to trouble with the IRS or your state, and that ultimately can lead to business failure. So those are important things to keep in mind as a freelancer. Tax withholdings, I think, is another good point. We were talking to a Instagram influencer the other day, and she saw what she thought was a bill from 1-800-ACCOUNTANT for $20,000. It wasn't a bill from 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. This was a bill from the IRS for taxes that she owed. Now, as a W 2 wage earner, Ellen, your taxes are withheld from your paycheck. So the money that gets deposited in your checking account is your net income, right? That's the income after taxes. You can spend all that money, save it, do whatever you want with it. When you're a freelancer, you're getting your gross income directly from your customers. Taxes are not withheld from that. Withholding those taxes is your responsibility as a freelancer. And also, the IRS requires you to file and pay those taxes every quarter, so 4 times a year. And if you're not doing that, that leads to interest and penalties that can cost you thousands per year and provide a never ending stream of issues that will take away your focus from where it should be, which is running a successful business.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't want to pay more taxes than I need to pay. But circling back
No
to what you
one
were
likes to
saying,
pay more taxes.
no, no
incredibly
one.
it's incredibly important. And also, I think that with a lot of freelancers, they view it as kind of like a almost like a hobby, right? And that is a
Mm,
major mistake as far as the IRS is concerned. If they think it's a hobby, they won't treat it as a business, and you'll lose out on potentially thousands of dollars in business deductions each and every year. So if I can give any piece of advice, it's that operate it like a business. Make sure you're taking it seriously. And that means you're not operating it in your own name. You have to go out there and you have to set up the correct business structure for that business longer term. So that means you're basically separating your personal life from your business. The main reasons that you're doing that are legitimacy. Your customers look at you as a business owner and they look at you different as if they looked at you as an individual in a better way. You're also coming across, in a much more recognizable fashion. And then also,
mhm.
it has to do with taxes. The tax code in this country was structured to benefit business owners and entrepreneurs. You always hear in the media how the so called rich pay low tax rates. It's because most people who are rich own businesses and run businesses. All of their income is running through that business, and they are benefiting from all of the tax breaks and tax strategies that the US government has built into the tax code to encourage entrepreneurship. Small businesses are the engine of the United States economy. They employ well over half of all employees, and they're responsible for well over half of our GDP. So it's incumbent, and the government knows this, to promote business ownership and entrepreneurship. So setting up a business structure basically ties you in to all of these unbelievable tax benefits. And there are hundreds of deductions available out there, numerous tax strategies that you can now pursue as a freelancer that will save you thousands of dollars each and every year. Why pay the government that money when that money can go back into your own pocket and you can use to reinvest in your business or spend on your leisure, whatever you want? But those should be your decisions. No one should pay more taxes than they have to.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely a great point. And like you were saying, with people file stuff in their own names and stuff, I think that might be an issue since side hustles are such a big thing right now. Everyone's like, oh, I can do 2 jobs easily, and then it might bite them in the rear later. Who knows? Circling back to what you were saying, though, about once you become an entrepreneur, you kind of have to become an expert in all these fields you haven't worked in yet, like accounting, like in marketing, like in building websites. Um, so, what would you say so circling back to that, when we talked about the withholdings for when you're doing the accounting part, what would you say would be some great tips for people to save when when they're not used to having their employer automatically withhold their retirement and insurance, like stuff we normally don't think about having a savings account for? So it would be some tips and tricks for people to use that as a freelancer.
The first thing that I want people to realize when they become a freelancer is it's most likely the best decision that they have made in their entire lives. They are fundamentally changing the trajectory of their career for the better. Again, the tax code in the United States is structured to benefit entrepreneurs. Once you begin operating as a freelancer, you tie yourself into all of those great benefits. One of the biggest reasons that you want to become a freelancer and you want to operate as a business are retirement. Everyone knows that, for most people by and large, they're not contributing enough each year to their retirement. as a freelancer, as a business owner, you can take advantage of a variety of different retirement plans that will significantly alter the trajectory of your retirement savings. Everyone has heard of IRAs, everyone has heard of 401ks, and those plans have various contribution limits each year that are set by the US government. Now, once you have a business, you can set up what's called a solo 401k. Now, the contribution limits on a solo 401k are up to $61,000 per year, which is more than triple what you can contribute as an employee into your IRA or, in this case, 401k. So, a solo 401k can be a phenomenal mechanism to allow you to dramatically expand your retirement savings in a big way. In addition to significantly higher annual contribution limits, there also are massive tax deductions available. If you contribute up to the full amount, $60,000 per year, you can save up to $20,000 per year in taxes. Now, obviously, a lot of that depends on your current tax rate, your different tax brackets, and obviously making sure that you're taking advantage of all those correct deductions through an expert. But up to $20,000 can be saved every single year just for you contributing to a solo 401k as a freelancer and as a business owner. And so, that's just one example of how being a freelancer and being a business owner can dramatically positively impact your financial future.
Totally. Yeah, I think we've definitely covered the good and the bad of freelancing. I think we've had a very much like, you need to be educated, you need to work with experts. If you want this to work, you have to plan ahead. So, what would you say to anyone watching who's on the fence of if they want to start freelancing or if they just want to start their own small business?
I would say get off the fence, make the plunge. And as I said earlier, this is going to be the best decision you've ever made. Also, this is a low risk proposition. There are numerous ways to start a side hustle while maintaining your existing W 2 job, building up a book of business, generating new customers, using all of the existing online platforms that are out there that basically bring customers to your door, and begin creating an online reputation for yourself as a freelancer. And then as that ball starts rolling downhill and starts catching speed, then you're going to be able to transition away from your W 2 and start focusing on your freelance business as your full time sole source of income. And once you do that, you're going to see that your financial future has dramatically changed for the better, and also that your tax rate has been lowered dramatically. It's not surprising to see business owners pay tax rates of under 10, under 15%, whereas the average individual who's a W 2 employee at the same income level may pay tax rates that are more than twice as high. And again, that's just because the tax code in the country is structured to benefit entrepreneurship. If you're not taking advantage of all of those great tax deductions and strategies that are available to you, you're losing out. And so I would really highly recommend that everyone give 1-800-ACCOUNTANT a call today. Talk to one of our small business specialists. Let us understand your situation. Let us understand what your dreams are and your goals. And we can put together a customized plan that will basically save you thousands of dollars per year in taxes, and that will also provide you peace of mind. And that's really the entire benefit that we're looking to achieve here. We want you to focus your time and your energies on managing and growing the business. Leave the administration, the bookkeeping, the taxes, the payroll to the experts at 1-800-ACCOUNTANT. Again, it'll be the best decision you've ever made. Give us a call today. Let us help you.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Brendon. Just a reminder, upcoming on December 16th, Christian Tensink will be joining our good friends at Oasis in Small Business Benefits to offer up some year-end tax saving tips for small businesses. Make sure to follow us on social media and sign up for our email newsletter to get access to this event. There will definitely be some useful and great information that we're going to discuss. Hopefully we see all you guys then.